Earlier, Laney, this is a brief comment by me. We have expenditures on the Measure U restorations, but no revenues. You want to be conservative. But ultimately, I mean, revenues may factor into this, and I know Councilmember McCarty brought this up. But I'm going to go back to some comments by the council members. I mean, as Councilmember McCarty said, core services is public safety. And Chief, I'm going to ask you to come back up some issues I didn't bring up earlier, and I want to discuss this now since this topic has come back up. You know, going back to my votes, I've been pretty conservative over the time I've been on council. You go back at my votes, and some of those votes were to be conservative on the budget. And ultimately, you know, it was a difficult decision for you to make. But for me to make those decisions, I made it to keep our city on a fiscal track, to being conservative, and so we could pay for what we have. But as we go forward right now, there's optimism in the city. And I discussed, you know, how my vote went on the arena and the entertainment sports complex. I mean, that's something that has been told to me is going to generate economic revenue. For me is, you know, that's a possibility, okay. But ultimately, we have to staff that area compared to what ARCO is now. Excuse me, Sleep Train, okay? The people go there and they leave there. Ultimately, who has worked in the core? We had Thursday night market before, which drew a lot of people there. We have an arena, an entertainment sports complex that is full-time, that requires people, we want to stay there, and it'd be programmed all throughout the year with entertainment, with the basketball games. We're going to have services there. And right now, before, we couldn't staff ARCO because we didn't have the personnel to staff it. Now, I think, Chief, you can comment on the concerns that I've had, recently I've heard about staffing in that area, what it could mean to public safety, the fire department and the police department. So would you like to talk about what you see the need for the police department or public safety in general? Maybe the Chief can add to that, but go ahead.
Well, you referenced Thursday Night Market, and that was, you know, a good endeavor by the city to have a nice event on the K Street Mall. And part of the problem there was it was understaffed initially, and we kind of lost it. So at the end of that, we ended up having skirmish lines and having to clean out downtown on a regular basis to the point that it was the demise of Thursday Night Market. So it's important whatever we do in the downtown core, if we're going to put an arena, is that we get ahead of it so that we don't have those issues, that we change the behaviors ahead of time, which is kind of like where we put down that overtime team down there. And, you know, the one different model that we have from Sleep Train to the downtown arena is that the intent is to have those people stay down there for a sustained period of time and actually enjoy all the nightlife that we have to offer down there. So it's going to be important that we up that. If you're going to add 20,000 people, right, and just to say half of them stay, you're adding another 10,000 people to the downtown area that just come out of ARCO Arena. It's important that we have the staffing that's going to be able to police that area. And it's not about making the arrest, but also to have the presence there to make sure that we don't have the problems that come down there that we've had when we've had different elements come down there and prey upon people that are actually enjoying the nightlife down there.
Thank you. See the delay. If we delay putting officers, and I'm not asking for 20 officers, I'm asking for, I think it's a reasonable amount of people right now to put on the street, and so we get our timeline moving forward. If we have to staff that area, we need to staff it so it is safe. The people want to be down. The people complain right now not wanting coming down to the K Street Mall because they don't feel safe.
Right,
so.
And we're going to take on the looking at some of the newer arenas that are out there, especially where they're trying to have the nightlife. For instance, like the Staples Center. We're going to send a contingent of officers down there to look at exactly how they're staffing that once the arena's done. Obviously, we're going to look at what's going on inside, but also what happens after, and also in Houston. That's another new, fairly new arena. Same type of deal, so we can look at some models of how we want to staff it. You know, we developed the entertainment team, one of the entertainment teams, and we're looking at that is that we may need to double that at least or maybe triple it so that we have the amount of resources down there that we can police it ahead of time so that we're prepared for it when we have a large influx of people.
Thank you. I mean, the concern I had recently also, I was talking to some people from the police department, and there's some concerns about people, our local gang members, want to claim turf down there in this area. And working in a gang unit before, it doesn't surprise me, it does concern me that this area, which is an essential area, would be a focus of, you know, their discussion.
Right, and that is some of the chatter that we're hearing. And, you know, if you look at some of the things that we're trying to transition with our patrol force, which is like the neighborhood patrol officers, it's getting the same officers down there so they're familiar with the people that come down there so they can address it and they know who the main players are. So, again, that's about staying ahead of it so that you have the folks that are there to actually do the policing to prevent it before it occurs.
Thank you, Chief. I need some